Welcome to Wisershift Podcast, where we prepare you for the unexpected and empower you to face calamity hands-on. Together, we'll embark on a journey of survival and preparedness. Whether it's natural disaster, pandemic, or unforeseen emergencies, building resilient for an uncertain future. We'll embark on a journey to explore the world of preparedness, where preparedness meets practicality. I am thrilled to have you join us today as we dive into the art of being ready for whatever life throws at us. Let's start the show.
What's going on, Wisershifters? Welcome back to another episode. We are here live. Well, not really live, but this is our first video recording. I think it's second. I'm not sure. But anyhow, if you're listening to the podcast, thank you for coming back. If you're watching with us, welcome. We are here. Catch us on YouTube. For those who are listening, if you want to watch this, all right, as we are talking about these topic. All right, very first thing I want to introduce the topic. You ready, Chef?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. So, first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is a few housekeeping rules. If you are new here, please go ahead and give us a rating on your favorite podcast platform wherever you are listening this episode on. And if you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. In the comment below, tell us what you want to hear or talk or want us to talk about. And also on YouTube, if you like, share this video with someone you love and like the video. Come on, help us grow this channel because we have a lot of great content coming for you guys. All right, that's it. This video I have no sponsor for today. So let's talk about the rumor of war, or like should I say World War III. As I'm gonna open it up and put the ball in your court. As a veteran, how do you feel about the proxy war that NATO trying to get involved, who's the leader of that? The U.S. We are trying to get into this world war that's potentially going to take place. How do you feel about that? I just want to open it up to you, Schiff. I want to hear your thought. This podcast is going to feel like an interview. Give me your thoughts on this.
The proxy war been going on. The proxy war been going on for a while. There's going to be a road. Well, there's a high likelihood of another world war, but right now everything hadn't fallen into place. Everything has to fall into place first before all else fails.
So right now, you mean to tell me they are staging everything
Of,
before?
of course.
Okay, talk to me. I'm a civilian, and a lot of us that's watching right now is civilian. And if you're a veteran, go ahead and talk. Go ahead, share with us on if you're watching on YouTube in the comment below on what you think about this idea and this topic we're talking about. Go ahead.
And I think war is inevitable. You're gonna have to. You gotta. In order to have peace, you must have war.
Yeah.
And I think a
must
lot
be
of
bloodshed.
times with people fail to understand war is a big business. And it's not by coincidence that there's been wars for the past since 2000. The U.S. always been at war or participated in some type of conflict, whether it's physically or whether just financially or whatever the terms may be. But
Gotcha.
the U.S. has always been in some type of war, and the reason why because the war pays the bucks. And I'm gonna just stop it there because it gets way deeper than that. Because I almost went down the rabbit hole that I was gonna. But nevertheless, the U.S. is always in some type of war. If you notice it, it don't matter who's president, who's not. Some type of war, But the thing about war is that you do it, and you have war in order to make a point.
Okay. To exercise strength sometimes.
Correct. You're making
Or explore resource.
You're making a point. You're making a point in some facet. When you think about war ain't pretty, man. War is
It's not.
It ain't pretty. If you've been to war, you understand what I'm talking about. War isn't pretty. It isn't fun because lives lost, resources lost, time spent, time gone. We lost a lot of people that's not coming back.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. The war is hectic, but it's necessary because we've been warring since the beginning of time. Now, coming up now, you got us, you got us, the lone superpower, and you got all these other up and coming superpowers. And I say up and coming superpowers because not only China can be a superpower, but India has the potential.
Yeah. I was
Has the
thinking.
potential now.
Mhm.
Potential mean can be. We're not saying that they are, but China is closer than anybody else. Russia just it diminished everything that it diminished. It showed you that they wasn't really prepared. We really wasn't prepared for war. Now, to all the listeners out there, everybody, for some odd reason, everybody's so scared of China. But the problem with China is China hadn't been in war in how long?
They're not battle tested for, at least for modern.
They're not battle tested
But
at all.
I think they are fighting a different war front, should I say. They're more, well, I could be wrong, but their strength lies in numbers and cyber warfare.
Well,
What are your thoughts on that?
the China boasts a lot of good technologies and capable of doing a lot of things, but the U.S. also boasts a lot of things. That's why you think the government pours so much money into the military funding, because guess what? They have to stay ahead of the game. China tries to keep up with the U.S., but they can't because they try to do everything cheaper. Cheaper isn't always good. Like, okay, for instance, they stole the prototype of the F-35. They got their prototype. I think it's the JU something. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a fighter jet. But anyways, if you look at it, it mirrors the F-35. But guess what? The capabilities are way inferior.
They're trying to re-engineer it and doesn't. Well, for me, the way I look at China on the world platform is that there are the engineer or manufacturer. In the U.S. is like the Steve Jobs. He has the U.S. have the concept and ideology and how to implement such concept when it comes to warfare and weapons and everything like that. And those under Steve Jobs, they're like the China where they can create and manufacture such idea. But if you leave them by their own song, they can't create such advanced technology on that level or degree. You know what I'm saying? Without Steve, when Steve Jobs left, died, and there was no Steve Jobs at Apple, you can see how Apple took a hit in regard to that. That's the comparison. Because without a Steve Jobs, Apple is not what Apple used to be. Versus what you're saying, where China, without a U.S., China wouldn't have or have the
No,
re-engineered
no, no,
ideas.
no, no, don't be mistaken. Now they got their own technologies
Of
themselves,
course, of
but
course.
a lot of things that they just like to steal is just so much easier trying to take it for somebody else
Yeah,
and mass produce it.
if you look at it, with switching gear for a little bit, Taiwan, they're they're supposed to be part of China, correct? And a lot of other countries don't recognize China. Taiwan has its own sovereign country. Now you have a potential. This is alleged potential war that might take place because if you look at how everybody is positioning their from their weapon to their troops and warhead, it seemed like it's a stage. It's a it's stage being prepped for such war, and United States might potentially be fighting two fronts: the Taiwan versus protecting Taiwan and fighting against China, and potentially how they're trying to fast track Ukraine to be part of NATO, and potentially if there's anything that might uh, how could I say cross or interfere with any NATO um, country members, U.S. might be potentially fighting Russia too. So you're looking at two fronts.
Well,
Do you think something like that is doable,
well,
even though we have the capability and power
I
and
think
strength?
with Russia, I think that Ukraine is. Yeah, well, first of all, Ukraine doesn't have anything to offer the U.S., so that's why U.S. use them as a test dummy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, if the U.S. was to fight Russia, which is highly unlikely, it would be NATO would have to fight Russia. Uh, but uh, Ukraine. That's why that's why the U.S. is funding Ukraine so they can continue to fight. Because had it not been for the money backed by NATO, guess what? Russia would have destroyed
Been
Ukraine
done with it.
long time ago because they didn't have no weapons, didn't have anything, didn't have the resources. So now because they have the resources,
Uh-huh.
guess what? Now they can continue to fight. Um, Russia is just Russia is wasting their resources fighting Ukraine. If Russia have any common sense, I would stop the war right now and
Through
build.
what? Through a peace treaty
Yeah,
or just completely stop?
I would do a temporary ceasefire
Fire.
and build up and then I get back in the fight. But right now, it's
It's like a losing war.
oh man, it's a point of no return right now. And
What Well, here's my thing. Playing Angel's Advocate. Here's three thoughts out there right now. There's those who are they are how could I say, they are in favor of Russia, and you have those who are in favor of Ukraine, and you have those who are in between and saying this shouldn't be taking place anyhow. But here's my thing. I think two things are happening, or actually three things is happening. Number one, I agree with you. NATO or U.S. is using Ukraine has a test dummy or test pilot for some of their equipment to see how they're faring on the battleground, and also I believe it's being battle tested some of the things and techniques and strategies. And second thought is that I believe this is all alleged. I don't know any information, but this is what some of the thoughts out that's flowing out there. Some people are saying that a lot of the money, the billions of dollars being sent to Ukraine for the alleged quotation war against Russia. Some people are saying, and I'm part of that category, thinking that is some money laundering taking place. Money is being circulated, and I don't know if you heard, a few billions of dollars were not accounted for. You know what I'm saying? And the last thought I want to share before you dive into it is that I believe that Russia might be playing a long-term game, because if you think about it, all this sanction that was placed against them, they're still thriving and surviving, and they have a partner, which is China, and others who are not for this war, and it's helping them. What are your thoughts on that? I know that's a lot, but tackle it however order you want to tackle it,
well,
because you have more.
let's go with the China. China, first of all, China, they're kind of supporting Russia, but not really because China is trying to uh uh China's trying to fight the war on a financial front, which I'm meaning is China's trying to create their own currency, with reserve currency.
Okay.
And so what that would do, that would destabilize this economy, or the world economy. Everybody that depends on the dollar, it would be destabilized because if BRICS ever comes into fruition. But the
Okay.
problem with that is that because you're fighting a war, guess what? If one of the countries that you're fighting, that's a part of your organization is fighting the war, guess what? Your money already lost value because they came in losing.
Okay.
They're fighting the war already. You see what I'm saying?
I got
So
you.
China, in order for BRICS to work, China has to get Russia to stop this war. They have to stop this war in order for them to devalue the dollar. Now, on the second hand, with Russia, Russia doesn't even have the resources, the financial, not even financial, but the support from its own people to continue to fight the war at such large scale. And if you look at it, if you look at the Russian news, a lot of the people are starting to become against the war because now they're just because they thought it was going to be short and quick, but it wasn't. And so now they're like, hey man, we ain't really trying to play the long term game. They're not trying to be spend 20 years like we did in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? In Iraq, you know what I'm saying? They're not trying to do that. They just want to get in and get out and keep it pushing. But I think Russia. The solution is to stop the war if they know what's best for them, because they're gonna run out of resources and they're gonna run out of soldiers too. And you got sanctions, another thing that you mentioned. So
That's hitting them. Well, with all of that being said, and we briefly touching on some of the large amount of thing that's taking place, but for those who've been here and those who are new here, part of what every topic that we talk about is all about introducing the problem and also giving you guys solution. And at the end, hopefully you can, arrive to your own conclusion. So with this war or this potential war that's about to take place, or like you said, that's already taking place, what are some of the things that we can do to prep our mind mentally, physically, and also spiritually, that because you seen combat, and you seen you participating in some of the warfare, and also seen some of the aftermath and carnage um of war, you know what I'm saying? And for me, being someone who raised in poverty and before I came to the US, I can understand how citizen mindset or group of people mindset can change the overall dynamic of livelihood. So what are your thoughts, and what are things that you, as a veteran coming from war and coming back to the States and living as a civilian now, what are things that you can see, you can help maybe share with the audience, and that you learned part of your transition, keyword transition, from a soldier fighting a war and being stationed at somewhere and transitioning to a civilian? What are some of the preps or things that you can definitely share with us, starting with the mentality, because a lot of us with purpose.
Everybody's different. To say that you can come back and you can adjust to life is different, because everybody has a different mental capacity. Some people they don't ever recover. Some people recover, some people doesn't ever recover. Some people is a constant battle.
Gotcha.
Just dealing with dealing with your mental health. You know what I mean? It's certain things that it, hmm, it's certain things that you deal with on just on the mental note, just getting used to that. When you come home and you realize, hey man, everything is taken for granted home. But
Gotcha.
when you're at war, man, everything is, I won't even say nonchalant, but it's kind of like at any time, which meaning that, who knows who's going to be
The
next to,
unknown.
yeah, correct. Who knows who's going to be next to die. But I think that you'll never be able to transition from war to home. It's just hard. And I want to say hard is it's a lot to process. It's a lot to
I gotcha.
process. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things that you're thinking about. But hey, you have to keep it moving. You have to keep it moving.
I got you. Now, for those who are watching and probably listening, there are many things that you can do to adapt to your situation. But the first key of solution regarding to potential war on the horizon is that you must be ready for it mentally. Because one of the things that I can definitely say, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that a lot of us don't know how to endure during tough time, because we've been domesticated to a point where everything in regard to convenience make us soft, you know what I'm saying? And we're not we don't have resilient, should I say, that keyword resilient. You must build resilient through for example, there's running water. If you turn the faucet on, there's that tap is running. And if you just flip the switch on your wall, you have electricity. Try to to live without those things for a day. Start with one day, and then progress forward by 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and see how would you do, and to see what you would need and build on top of that. And that will help you build resilient to be ready. So if war to ever reach home, you are prepared for it. A lot of us don't think about these things until it happen. Some of us don't think about having the flashlight ready. Shift and I was showing Shift some of my flashlight, and he was telling me, "Hey, look, I got this battery, this flashlight." Part of our prep and whatever. And one of the things I want to encourage to everybody who's listening or probably watching is go and test yourself and to build that resilient. What are your thoughts on that for us as civilians? What are some things that you think that we can build on top of that to build resilient or to build our mental fortitude? So if if SHTF ever hit,
you would the only way to build against something is going through it. You kind of get what I'm saying? Because
gotcha.
if it's new to you, it's gonna always catch you by surprise.
Yep.
And once it catch you by surprise, the next go around that, hey, I'll be all right. But at the end of the day, I think being resilient in whatever facet it is or whatever area it is, I think you would just have to prepare. And what I mean by prepare, you would have to, okay, if you're gonna build a house, go get your lumber, go get all your nails, go get all your electrical equipment, go get all the machinery. You prepare. So everything is preparation, and that's why it's called prepare. So it's in preparation.
Gotcha.
But the problem is that a lot of people don't think it can happen over here. So
a lot of people will be in the wood of awakening.
That's the problem. And the reason why I know that is because think about it. You don't see people buying land. They're buying what? They're buying houses and subdivisions with no land, nothing that would be as useful. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They buy a house. They can buy a $500,000 house. Don't even have a tenth of an acre in their backyard.
Yeah, I agree.
So how can they plant food? How can they grow? They don't even have no water source.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most people don't even know how to find a water source.
You're right.
Matter of fact, most people don't know how to start a fire.
You're right.
Most people don't have a grill in the backyard.
Come on. I mean, you touching on a lot of important parts.
It's it's something to think about, but most people
they're not considering.
Oh no. Yeah, because they think that Walmart gonna be always open.
Always.
Walmart gonna always have food on the shelf.
That's not the case. The harsh reality.
They don't know how to kill a live animal and skin it properly. You know what I'm saying? Without getting salmonella or any type of airborne disease. You see what I'm saying?
Or any cross contamination.
Correct, cross contamination, food poisoning. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that a lot of people fail to understand is they trust the government too much.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. For me, I rather believe in a creator, knowing that, having hope and understanding that there is an existence of such, versus where man you can visibly see and you can speak to them, and sometimes they don't even help you or worth any value, should I say. And the biggest thing, to wrap up things on this topic, because we can go in many directions, but to keep it short and concise, I'll say this: don't depend on the government, like Shift said. Start your preparation today. If you have watched our previous episode where we talked about preparation, type of food and how to prepare, how to harden your home, and having the essential stuff like that, go watch some of that. It's just surface information we shared, but those are great bases to start. And if you can take anything from today's episode, we briefly cover the potential war that's at hand, but the biggest thing is you should take away from this episode is start today. Do not wait. Is your water, do you have water prepared? Do you have food prepared? And is your home prepared? Those are the things that you definitely consider and think about. Any final thoughts on this topic? I know this is just briefly touching on it, but we just want to keep it short and concise. Go ahead. What's your final thoughts on that?
if you fail to plan, you plan to
Ah,
fail. Everything is about planning. I
say
mean,
that one more time. I don't think they heard you.
if you fail to plan, you
That's it.
plan to fail.
That's it.
I don't think everybody really know the severity of it because they live in the comfortability.
Yeah.
When you're comfortable at something, guess what? You continue to do the norm.
Yeah.
But when
I
you're
agree.
uncomfortable, guess what? It forces you to what? It forces you to change your hand.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you're not prepared, man, hey, it's on you. But take the time to at least draw a map and see what you want to do and see which direction you want to go.
I
And we
agree.
know prepping ain't for everybody.
Nope.
We're just trying to give you guys a little bit of guidance. We're just trying to give you guys a heads up,
Yes.
pretty much. But prepping ain't for everybody. Some people ain't gonna want to prep, and guess what?
Nope.
You're gonna be the guys that are the scavengers.
Yep.
And then you're gonna look at guys like me and Wiser here, and we're the hunters. Cause guess what? We done prepared for everything, and we got what we need. So hey,
Mhm.
when our resources run low, guess what? We guns up.
You're ready at all time and have way to produce and replenish.
Correct.
Like Shift said, man, if you don't do your part at the end of the day, it's on you. And there's one of my favorite saying is that the prepare will thrive. And that is true. Thank you for listening, and for those who are watching, thank you for watching, and hope that you guys return for another episode. We are excited. We have a lot of things coming, and let's just say this without making any promises. Stick around, come back, support us. Trust me, you will not be disappointed, and I can guarantee you that. We have our website that's coming up, and we have merch coming up, and we have a subscription coming up where we be able to talk about things that Schiff and I cannot talk about here on a certain platform, especially on YouTube if you're watching, and that we want to dive more into, and hopefully you guys could be part of the conversation. And if that interests you, please stick around. It's going to be for small fees, nothing big. So your small fee will be contribution to help the show and help us grow and to give you guys more content. If that sounds good to you, please come back and support us. And if this is not for you, share with someone else that you might think that will be a great member of this community. All right. I think we good. Let's wrap it up. I'll see you guys next time. Please do the usual things on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share this video. And I appreciate it. And those who are watching, and whatever your favorite platform, please give us a rating. Help us grow and build this community. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you guys in the next episode.